Good morning, everyone. It's me, Kae Pea, and I'm here in my studio, the Moon and the Maker, home of RubberMoon art stamps. And we are here, and I say we because I have a guest in the studio again. Estrella is with me. Say hi, Estrella.
Hi.
So, Estrella came all the way from New Jersey to visit me and get Makey. Now, she's not going to actually be on the live stream right now with me today, this morning, but this evening on Let's Get Makey Premium, we are doing, we're going to start our golden journal. So we're going to set up the camera so that she can actually do a Makey with me. So I hope whoever is in Let's Get Makey Premium, I hope you'll join us this evening at 7 Central. So it's been super, super nice having Estrella here visiting. We've been hanging out, and we haven't really got to make much art so far together because we've been talking so much and eating. But anyway, she still has a few more days, so we're really excited about that. And I am excited again to get started for World Watercolor Month, day number 20. Oh, goodness, 25. Can you believe it? I've made it 25 days in a row. Woohoo! And only 2 of those days were pre-recorded just due to prior commitments. So every other day has been live and in person. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about color wheels and color mixing and just have some more fun with our watercolor. What I've done here, well, first I'll just show you and talk to you about a couple things here. I love color wheels. Can you hand me all those right there?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. There's all that. There's a whole
Okay.
stack.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. So sorry, excuse me one sec. So I love color wheels. I'm always buying color wheels. This is old. This actually isn't a color wheel. It has obviously color wheels on it. It's a little how to mix color pocket guide to mixing color. And so I love having these kinds of things around my studio. This one here is super old. I've had it for, oh my gosh, I want to say I've probably had this thing for 25 years. You can see it's very, I don't know if you can really tell, but it is very faded. But this really helps me. Honestly, sometimes when I'm stumped for what color to use, I really can just glance at my color wheel and sort of, decide if I want to use a complementary color or, analogous color, which the nice thing about it is all these really are for dummies because it explains everything and all the terminology. So very helpful to have this kind of stuff hanging about. Also, I love to make color charts. So, or just to paint out my color, even though I think I mentioned this the other day, even though I have, professional color charts from the companies that put out the paint, it's completely different to actually paint with them, by hand rather than looking at a printed piece of literature. So now this color chart, I guess you could say, is one I made a long time ago, and it's all Daniel Smith colors, and I didn't write down the color names. I was only doing this just to see the color and out. And I love it. I mean, I almost could frame this and be happy, So I'm actually taking another class right now, and I love it. I'm having a great time, and we did a lot of color wheels for one of the exercises. And so this is, different things you can get just by a limited color palette, which is what we're going to do today. I'll show you something else I did. Now this is done in acrylic, and it has a really thick coat of resin on it, so excuse the glare, but you can just see I love making color wheels, and I think this is really a fun, kind of funky one. And so I took inspiration from this piece, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a couple little fun, I guess, exercises, but then they can also be used for fun pieces of art. Okay. So I'll stop talking now and actually get to making. Well, I say that, but I probably didn't cut myself paper again. have one piece of paper, and let's see if I can scrounge up another one around here. Nope, I'll be right back. I'm going to grab another piece of paper. All right, you'd think I could remember to cut some pieces of paper after all these days, but get a little discombobulated sometimes. Let me just stop for 1 second and say hello to everybody who's here. And Estrella, say hello too. Oh, wait, she's drinking her coffee. 1 second. So,
hi, everybody.
Somebody new that I don't recognize, Claudette. Hi, welcome. RubberMoon has been in existence since 1993. But I have owned it for 7 years in September. So we're going to have our 7-year anniversary coming up. But all together since 93, what does that make it? 93?
26 years.
Yeah, so it'll be our 26th anniversary as a company and my 7th anniversary as owner. So anyway, yes, good morning. Hi, Tracy and Puff. Nice to see you. Juliet and Libby and Jan. And Emily, hello. Good to see you all. Yeah, Linda. I hope I'm not missing anyone. If I am, please excuse my or please forgive me. Oh, Becky, I see Becky. So it's just sometimes it scrolls past and I don't get to say hi to everyone. Anyway, so for today, we are actually only going to use these 2 little stamps. This is a Sunny Carvello stamp. And it's just, I think it's called like Wheelie or something like that. And then our little Imagine stamp, which is one of my favorites. Funny, the things that call to us. I am going to be using just my circle template. And again, just for those of you who maybe are joining for the first time or may have missed me mentioning this to you every single day, I am using 300-pound cold press watercolor paper. And and rubber stamps from RubberMoon. And today I chose a very limited color palette. And for those of you who know me, that is difficult for me. I have trouble keeping to a limited color palette, but I'm challenging myself and I'm finding I kind of like it. I'm going to use quinacridone red light. I'm going to use it's actually benzimidazoline, but we call it Benzie yellow, and then manganese blue. Those are my 3 colors. And it's really fun to just squeeze out a few, or, squeeze those colors out, and then get yourself a nice tray or, palette or something where you can start to mix the colors right on there. And I'd like to just share with you, this is a scrap piece of paper that I had laying around, watercolor paper, of course. And these are my 3 colors, my pure color. So I have my quinacridone red light, my Benzie yellow, and my manganese blue. And then from those, these are all the, colors. And that's just pretty much the tip of the iceberg. I think you can really almost get like hundreds of colors just by creating different, strengths or using different amounts of each color. So I got all these like oranges, purples, greens, and then some really beautiful grays and this really lovely sort of, oh gosh, I don't know. It's like a bronzy green and I really like it. So that's what we're going to play with today. All right. So here again, now these, my samples that I was just playing around with to practice, I guess you could say, are done on 140-pound paper. And I used just my little India ink pad, permanent ink pad. So whatever you have handy, if you're going to do some stamping. I was going to show, I wanted to show you this little journal too. So you could start a nice little journal. And even if you were working on, say, these small 3x4 inch cards like I'm working on, you could eventually bind them together and make a journal if you wanted to. But I wanted to show you here, again, sort of a limited color palette on this one instead of, and then did some fun little variations. So, I mean, you could just do page after page of this. And remember that things like this are great to create art or pieces like we did yesterday. That stack. So anytime that you create just little swatches, make sure you save those, because then you can do things like this with those leftover pieces. All right. And just for fun, I just wanted to show you, and I don't know how many of you saw my Facebook page, but I actually took a picture of the side of all of these. This is all the work I've created so far this month. Okay. So it's exciting to see, and makes a great pattern. I was thinking this would make cute washi tape. And my brain. Anyway, all right, let's get started. So here I'm just going to take my mechanical pencil and my round circle template and create myself a wheel. And of course this, I don't know, this one goes all the way across. I made it a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll just go one smaller, or of course you could do multiples if you want, but that's what I'm going to use that tiny stamp for. And then I don't necessarily, for mine, I don't want it to be perfectly like a perfect circle. So I'm going to let my pencil just be kind of crazy like that. And then I'm also not too concerned about, having my lines very straight. Again, sort of using this piece a little bit as my inspiration. I might need some AC soon. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like dying in here. All right, so again, we're just gonna crisscross.
Should I tell Casey to turn it on?
It's okay for now. Unless, are you dying? No, it's really hot in
fine.
here. Okay, well, if you start sweating, let me know. The AC is not off. I know you probably just hear me babbling over here. A lot of times I turn the air conditioner off because it's kind of loud and it distracts me a little bit. Now, most all of you have said you really don't hear it, which is great. But I end up turning it up really high, like to 80 degrees, so it won't keep kicking on and then sitting in here sweltering. So anyway, decide how many pieces of the pie that you want. Like, do you want to just color in with, using mostly your, 3 to 6 colors, but that's really up to you. You can, go in and do a whole bunch of pies if you want. Yeah, so I'm just going to use the graphite of the pencil. Of course, if you wanted to, use ink, that'd be great. Then on this little guy, and I didn't really get to finish all my little wheelies, but I thought it would be fun to take the same 3 colors and just fill them in, fill all my little wheelies in, using all the different colors that I can get. And this would make a super fun background, or also just a test piece if you wanted to keep, some of these pieces for future reference. That would be great also. And you can list the colors that you used on the back or whatever. So I'll go ahead and stamp this up. All right. And then just let's dig right in. Of course, now this is something really fun. Again, you know me, I love to go to my local thrift shop and find things that I can use as palettes. And this, I can't really pull the whole thing over here to show you. I wish I could, but this is part of a Lazy Susan. It's like an old Lazy Susan, and it's a really nice, has ceramic little trays in there. So I store a lot of my, my other little tiny dishes or my little sets of watercolor. I store them in this, but then I also pull them out and use them to mix up my paints. I feel like a mad scientist around here sometimes. So here I have my 3 pure colors in here. Of course, I like to keep baby wipes handy because once I start mixing, I'll just wipe this out and get it clean. and just make spaces for me to create my washes. All right. Remember, fresh, clean water. I'm using my number 8 long round brush. And then I also have my number 4, which kind of comes in handy for this little smaller detail. Although many of you know me and know that I will still grab my number 8 and try to struggle with it. So I'll try to remember to switch to my number 4 when I get down to those little smaller detail wheelies. So first I'm going to go ahead and dip into my pure color. And we'll start there. As you can see from my little sample, I wasn't trying to be too precise or anything, but if you want to be more, careful and really paint in your lines, of course, you can take time to do that. I'm going to go ahead and switch. Instead of going in right next to it and creating orange, I'm just going to go straight into my benzy yellow here and skip a pie section. It's so quiet. I'm sitting with Estrella here. I'm not so used to us being so quiet.
I'm watching
I
every
know.
move you make.
Oh, I'm just sitting here chit-chatting away, and then I stop and I'm like, oh, it's so quiet. And then again, I'm going to skip here. I want to really, really encourage you, if you do enjoy watercolor, or even if you're just really wanting to learn more about watercolor or just play with watercolor, that you definitely do take some time to, take out whatever watercolors that you have, whatever brands that you have, and really paint out some swatches, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and start mixing, I guess, and trying to fill in here. Oh, goodness, I don't know. I didn't do the really, I guess, the correct amount of pies to space it out right, so that's okay. And I'm going to pull this down just so you can see. I'm going to mix up some. Of course, this is all just experimentation as far as how much, how much red to use with how much yellow. And of course, you're going to get a different hue of orange if you use a different red and yellow. So that's all things to keep in mind, and to just continue your experimentation. And not only this is, I find this to be a super relaxing and just very rewarding exercise to do. And I'm sorry, I know you can't see all this. I'm trying to keep as much in the frame as I can so you can see. And also keep in mind, you're going to get more saturated color the drier your brush. So you'll get more translucent color, or definitely more washed out color the more water is in your brush. Again, as you're going along, you're going to also remember you're going to get more of a yellowy green the more yellow that you mix with the blue. If you want it to be more of a tealy green, then you're going to mix more blue. So that, just keep those things in mind as well. And also, if you don't really like maybe a hue that you created, you can go in and you can mix right on your paper. It will sometimes give you a little bit different of a look, but it definitely can be done. So don't think like, oh, I don't like that green, too late now, because it's not. You can definitely manipulate it. And see, I really like when the colors kind of flow and bleed together. I think it looks a little more, I don't know, artsy or just more fun. I don't necessarily like them to just look super segmented. I'm going to just stop and read the comments for a second. Jan, you're so funny. Jan said, I'm sure Mr. Moon is happy you've stopped stealing the dinner dishes. Yeah, well, it's not like I put dinner on them, so that's okay. Yeah, never throw anything away, Linda. Anyway, I'm trying to mix up myself like a darker, truer purple. So I don't know if that really is, but I like the color, but I wouldn't say it's a truer purple. It's really fun though to see what you get. All right, so kind of fun. And then I wanted to spruce mine up just a little bit. So I actually took my Moonlight Duo, my black Moonlight Duo. I can't remember what the black's called. This one has the wrong name on it. Do you remember? Is it deep? No. Oh gosh, Jan. What's the name of my black? I can't remember. I would look on the back, but this has the wrong name. Anyway, I'm going to mix up a gray. I want it to sort of more match that graphite line. So, and then I'm just going to stamp my little words around. And then I went ahead and used also the wheelie on here just for a little added fun. And of course you could have a really cute little card or enclosure, or I would actually like to maybe do some things like this and put them in my pocket journal. And you know, you could of course write the colors that you use down on the back so that you could look at different color mixtures for the future. So kind of a fun little exercise. And then of course we go over here and do all those little on these little guys. I'm going to just, since, I mean, you already get how to do it. It's not like rocket science, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this off, I think. And just, I really, I didn't get to, oh, I did show you this already. I really love some of these beautiful shades of gray that I got by mixing sort of all the colors together. So I'll show you that. You know, because you'll come up with browns and grays. If you mix all these colors together, you will get either something like that bronzy color that I showed you earlier, or this nice sort of kind of like a, I don't know, almost like a mocha brown, or like a dark taupe or something like that. And that's just mixing the purple, or I'm sorry, well, I made a purple out of the manganese blue and the, is it quinacridone? and the benzie yellow, or added yellow to it and got that sort of mocha brown. So just, of course, experiment around with that and see what you get. So on these little guys, I was sort of, I did a couple that had all the colors. You can see that, like this one and this one. And then I did some that just have like the reds and blues. And then these just have reds and yellows, blues and blues and yellows on this one. So, just play. This stamp is a little tiny for this. Going to come out with a couple bigger ones so I can, or similar, some little color wheel things, but I I still really like it and like it for like a background or something too.
It's called Total Eclipse Black.
Total Eclipse Black. Yay. Thank you. Thanks. Estrella had to look it up. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
just as good with colors as you are.
Well, I never remember the names of anything. It's too many. That's why. I mean, we have like, I think definitely well over 3,000 stamp designs. And I don't know how many colors now of like Moonlight Dew is like 15. Oh, I don't know. I just I can't retain anything anymore. So on this, I think I'll just keep adding. So when you find a color that you sort of like, or even that you're interested in sort of recreating, then maybe just keep adding a little more of a color to it. Like this, I just added more yellow. I don't know if you can see that very well. And I'm getting sort of all these wonderful shades of these goldy browns.
18.
18 Moonlight Duos? Oh, see what I know? There's 18 Moonlight Duos. Oh, goodness. Of course, you are working in a very small space, so if it's pretty wet, it will bleed in together, but they look so fun, right? They're just very, I don't know, loose, washy, fun. I don't mind if the colors blend together like that. So I'm taking my same mixture now and mixing a little more red to it. And you can just move around the wheel like that, saturating more of the same color in and seeing the variations that you can get. A lot of them are super subtle, but that's what you're going to want when if you're painting, I don't know, a face or anything. It's nice to get those beautiful gradients. The only thing I will tell you also is that, well, it's not the only thing I'll tell you, but I'll tell you something else. And that is if you find a color combination that you really, really like by mixing, you may want to do a nice color swatch, okay? And then make sure you write it down, because it's sometimes hard to recreate. And especially when you're creating just small little washes the way that I'm doing, you lay it down, you love it, and then it's sort of hard to remember exactly what you did. So that's just something to keep in mind. All right. One more. I don't want to bore you while I just sit here and color all these in so slowly. So I'll just finish one more and then we'll finish off the card and call it a day. And I will finish it up and post it on our page for you. It's like I just love this gray that I just got. Oh, that is such a nice gray. I really, really like it. So it was just made by mixing making green and then adding a little bit of the red. So I really recommend just getting yourself a nice big dish or a couple dishes and squeezing out 3 colors and going to town playing and seeing what you get. Then for me, I think I'm going to go ahead and take, I do want to finish this off, and I think I'm going to take my Payne's Gray right straight out of here. Or, well, I could actually mix it up and make, I know what, how about if I do that? Since I already have all this color here, I'm going to mix it up and make myself a nice gray again. Hopefully I can come up with one. And then I'm going to do this whole background. I'm making mud right now instead of gray. And now I have a beautiful, you can see what I have, a beautiful teal now. I think I'm getting there. All right, I want to obviously test it out a little bit before I go straight to my paper. I like it pretty well, so I'm going to go with it. And I'm not going right up to my little wheelies. I'm leaving some white space around them. And I'm not trying to be too, precise or anything. It's a really whimsical, sort of wonky piece anyway. So perfectly happy with, that whole aesthetic. And it didn't really make up a gray, although it's sort of a steely, greeny gray, I think. I like it though. But I still may end up going over it again with a little bit of pyrrole. I mean, what I said, Payne's Gray. I don't know why I said pyrrole. Must have had pyrrole on the brain. And of course, you know me, and I've watercolored enough with you to know that I will kind of continue to watch this as it dries, see if there's any space, spots that I feel I would like to, smooth or whatever. I mean, obviously, piece isn't, again, going to hang in the Smithsonian anytime soon, but, I still want to sort of watch it and see if it needs areas, to be manipulated at all, or definitely like to go in and deepen my edges just because I do that. And this piece is 140 pound. Remember, it's not the 300 pounds. So that's why it is buckling up just a little bit. I think after I'm done with the live here, I am going to go ahead and finish the one on 300 pound paper just so I can have it for my big old stack. And that, my friends, is World Watercolor Month, day number 25. Woohoo! Let's see. All right, I'm reading the comments again. Yay, Emily, I'm so happy. She said, I'm so inspiring. You gave me already several ideas for making color wheels. Oh, I'm so happy. And let's see. Now you want a lazy Susan. Yeah, go to the thrift shop and you can find one for like, $4. That's what I did. This one has 6 pieces in it. See, I'll show you. Has 3 that are this color and the 3 white ones. Some are these small sections and 2 are these bigger sections. And and this was the only thing wrong with it. It had this little chip in it, but I didn't care anything about that. And then it has a big bowl in the center, a bunch of my watercolor stuff in the bowl. So anyway, I'm not just here to show you paint. I have to show you all the little goodies and accoutrements that go with it too. All right. Well, anyway, thank you all so, so much for joining myself and Estrella today for day number 25. I'm so excited to see you again tomorrow at the same time. And tonight on Let's Get Makey Premium, if you want to join Estrella and myself for some mixed media fun, we're going to start our golden journal. Okay, so really all you need for tonight is some watercolor paper, preferably some long, some bigger sheets of watercolor paper. But we can make you can make a mini journal or whatever. I'll get with you tonight and tell you all about it. Thanks again. Have a beautiful day and go get makey. I love you to the moon and back. Bye.